You've been talking somewhat about Donald Trump. Hard not to these days. What's your opinion about President Trump?
Oh, sweet Jesus. Well, you know, it's like everyone's waiting for this moment for him to become presidential. Right. You know, they're like, oh, he has to learn how to control his emotions. He has to learn to be measured. You know, but the man is 70 years old. Those are things that you teach kids. You know, I'm teaching my 7-year-olds those things.
Right.
You know, Trump is 70. He's not going to learn that now.
Yeah.
You know, if he's a dick, he's just going to be a dick.
All right.
That's it.
Okay, so.
Speaking of big mouth kids, Donald Trump, remember him? Well, you're not going to believe this, but he said something crazy. According to a new tell-all book, back in 2019, Trump told his chief of staff, and I quote, "Hitler did a lot of good things."
Hold up. Wanda Sykes just dropped a comedy bombshell on Melania. And let's just say Trump is probably rage tweeting into a microwave as we speak. What did she say? And how bad was it? Stay tuned because this roast is hotter than Trump's tanning bed dialed up to extra crispy. Let's dive in.
Jimmy, I'm a black woman and a lesbian. How the hell you think I'm doing?
What's your opinion of why it went this way? Why Americans voted the way they did?
Sometimes America is just gonna America. You know? I mean, there's so many reasons why you could say, you know, it happened. But I think, you know, a lot of us aren't like totally shocked. You know, but it's like, okay, you know, you get your hopes up and you think you move forward, and honestly, you know what? I blame those damn Cheerio commercials and showing all those interracial couples. You scared the out of white people.
What? Before we keep going, smash that like button and subscribe because you definitely don't want to miss this one. Just when people thought Melania had mastered the art of gracefully avoiding responsibility, in walks Wanda Sykes, microphone in hand, and absolutely no chill. Because let's be real, being a true First Lady usually requires some effort, a little passion, maybe even one real emotion. But Melania? She strolled through it all like a department store mannequin that accidentally got left outside during a parade.
I don't find funerals funny. But here's a story about a funeral that I found hilarious. Because this funeral had Donald Trump. And that guy can turn anything.
Next voice, next voice. But let's not act like she didn't have her moments. That White House Christmas decor. A haunted forest straight out of a Tim Burton fever dream. Every hallway looked like it was sponsored by the ghost of Christmas trauma. Back then, she insisted she was all about kindness and standing up to bullies. Meanwhile, she was married to the walking, talking embodiment of an internet comment section gone rogue. If there was ever a time to put those values into action, it was every single day. Yet, there she was, standing off to the side like some mysterious movie villain with a questionable accent, watching the chaos unfold in stiletto silence.
Normal that I know that I'm smarter than the president. Come on, in the Mueller investigation, how does he not know that he's individual number one?
And speaking of jobs, Wanda couldn't help but point out the most baffling part of Melania's entire tenure. Does she even want asterisk to be there? From swatting Trump's hand away like it carried a contagious tax fraud charge, to looking visibly exhausted every time she had to stand next to him for more than 3 minutes. It was like watching a woman forced to cosplay enthusiasm. Imagine trying to launch an be best campaign while your husband is out there typing in all caps like a boomer discovering Facebook for the first time. But the real gold mine, the mystery of her accent. It somehow got thicker with every speech.
I knew it's not like he wasn't, you know, was going to stop being a liar. I knew that was going to continue, right? I knew, I mean, so, but what I did was, instead of focusing on specific incidents or specific policy, it was more about us and how we're behaving and how we're not reacting, in my opinion, you know, normally towards what's happened, what to what he's doing.
By the end of 4 years, she sounded like she was auditioning for a role in a Cold War spy thriller. And those speeches, let's just say, theft is a crime. Unless you're lifting entire paragraphs from Michelle Obama, in which case, apparently, it's just appreciation. Wanda wasn't just roasting Melania. She was solving a national mystery. Why did she always look like she was seconds away from jumping into an escape tunnel? And what was with those Christmas decorations that screamed blood sacrifice?
Red cranberry-covered trees lining the east colonnade had some critics seeing red, or at least seeing car wash brushes, or seeing the women from The Handmaid's Tale with their bonnets.
We are in 21st century and everybody has a different taste. I think they look fantastic. Everybody will come over and visit it. In real life, they look even more beautiful, and you are all very welcome to visit the White House, the People's House.
And most importantly, was she actively blinking in Morse code for help? Because if the answer to that last one is yes, America may have just ignored the first ever hostage situation in the White House. Meanwhile, Trump, watching all of this unfold, probably reacted the way he always does when someone dares to mock him. Full toddler tantrum mode. Picture flying objects, a meltdown in all caps, and an incoherent rant about how he's the most unfairly treated man on earth. Somewhere in the distance, a McDonald's bag trembled. But Melania? She responded the only way she knew how, by saying absolutely nothing. When in doubt, just vanish into the shadows, wait for the news cycle to move on, and pretend none of this ever happened. It's a strategy, it's a vibe, and honestly, it might be her most impressive achievement yet. Wanda didn't just roast Melania. She came for the whole Trump empire, and let's just say there were no survivors. The crowd barely had time to breathe before she pivoted. Because why stop at Melania when the human tantrum machine himself was lurking in the shadows of his self-inflicted irrelevance?
Guest tonight is an Emmy-winning writer, actor, and comedian who has been very amusingly annoyed for well over 3 decades. New episodes of her show, The Upshaws, are on Netflix now. Please welcome Wanda Sykes.
Trump, a man whose ego is more fragile than a soap bubble in a hurricane, watching this unfold like a rejected contestant from Asterisk, The Apprentice Asterisk. You could almost hear the distant cries of unfair, unfair. Because if there's one thing he despises more than an unpaid invoice, it's a joke at his expense. And Wanda? She had plenty. The hand-holding issue? That was just the warm-up. Wanda went for the jugular, digging into his legendary inability to handle rejection, which, let's be real, was on full display every time Melania expertly dodged his grasp like a seasoned running back. The audience erupted as Wanda painted the picture, Trump reaching for her hand like a desperate car salesman, while Melania sidestepped like she just spotted a buy one get one free deal on divorce lawyers. Then came the real masterpiece, his obsession with loyalty. Here's a guy who demands absolute devotion from everyone. Politicians, aides, even the White House landscapers, and maybe the flies buzzing around his tanning bed. Yet, somehow, his own wife looked like she was actively plotting her escape. Wanda made it clear, even a billionaire can't buy enthusiasm.
After the election, I was going around consoling people. I said, guys, look on the bright side. Look at this. I was telling everybody, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. I was like, I am certain this is not the first time we've elected a racist, sexist, homophobic president. He ain't the first one. He's just the first confirmed one. That's it. Wow. Fuck you, motherfuckers. Fuck all y'all.
The roast only intensified his love affair with golden furniture, his inability to handle umbrellas, and the fact that his tweets read like an angry Yelp review from a man who just discovered microwaves can't cook steak. Nothing was off limits. By this point, the audience was in tears from laughing, while somewhere, a former president was crying into a bucket of KFC. And then, the post-roast meltdown. Predictable. Fox News was scrambling, crafting emergency monologues. Twitter was lighting up like a Christmas tree in July, and somewhere, an intern had to remind him, no, you can't sue someone just for making fun of you. Meanwhile, Wanda, unbothered, cashed her check, sipped her tea, and left Trump and Melania to battle it out in the world's most awkward game of asterisk. Who actually wanted this marriage asterisk? Somewhere deep in Mar-a-Lago, an iPhone screen was taking a severe beating, the tweet drafts glorious, the typos unhinged, and the caps lock screaming. Wanda Sykes had struck a nerve, and Trump was flailing like a toddler who just found out the McDonald's ice cream machine is broken.
But I really have to say, the media is even more biased this year than ever before. Ever. You want the proof? Michelle Obama gives a speech, and everyone loves it. It's fantastic. They think she's absolutely great. My wife, Melania, gives the exact same speech. And people get on her case.